What is up, everybody? Happy Monday night. A beautiful night here in the Paris of Appalachia, the big city. Yeah, we're just getting settled in for a long night of world building. Let me get a piece of paper out here. We got the Game Master's Compendium of Explosive Creation all loaded up. We are in the final week of the Kickstarter. Final days of the Kickstarter, and oh man, we're funded. We're 100%, which feels awesome. We are 200%, which feels incredible. We are 300%, which got me thinking, what if we were at 1,000%? Because that's it, man. That's the world we live in, right? That's life. More. And I am resting in the gratitude of successful Kickstarter. I mean, the verdigris table is, you're looking at it. It's me and a table. And a lot of, not a lot of blood, a little bit of blood, mostly sweat, and some tears. And yeah, the Compendium is the most ambitious thing we've done to date. And by we, I mean me and Dolly, who will be coming in shortly, I bet. We have cooked up some stuff on the Dungeon Masters Guild. We've made tables to make wilderness travel more interesting. We've done some adventures. You got a pretty decent starter set. I didn't package it as such, but I built level 1 to level 2 to level 3 to another level 3 that kind of can push you in different directions to teach people. What's up, Chris? Temu binge. I fell off Temu for a while, but I got this fantastic thing, which I don't know if you saw, and I don't know how to light it. Yeah, that's not bad. Oh, no, actually, I got this from Uniel, and I got this. I'm confused. How far do stretch goals go at 1,000? So I bulked up all the stretch goals to 10K. 10K feels like a stretch for a little project like this, but people are hitting 1 million left and right. So what is money? And I figured let's swing for the fences this week. Let's go for it. So if we do manage to make it to 10K, we're going to put out a spread, a full 2-page spread for every core class, for the dozen core classes that we all know and love so much. Let me scroll down here. You know what? Let's do it this way. So you can actually get a nice look at it all. So yes, we've already unlocked a lot of content, which the core baseline were 50 spreads. I'm doing 50 backgrounds, archetypes really, because there's backgrounds and then there's other things. We have unlocked 100 character creation questions, which I'm really excited about. And I was talking about those wilderness exploration tables, and Chris, you've experienced this a little bit. But in those tables, we roll a 7, and it's Dungeon Master's choice. You can ignore it if you want, but I put these like getting to know you character questions in there as sort of as an RP opportunity and as a way for players to kind of be forced to think about their characters. D20 cufflinks as wedding gifts. Now that's the kind of woman that you marry twice. I picked up this thing. By pick up, I mean one, from farming or fishing or whatever stupid Temu game I had played. And then your friend and my Mike painted it. And I also got some dice, which are in there. But it's this reminiscent of the Lord of the Rings I don't even know, landscape statuary, the colossi that are guarding that pass into the old lands of men. And Mike painted it sick. So there's like this wishing well. Let me get his arm out of the way. This wishing well situation. And he put some sweet treasure in there, and he glazed it or resined it or all of the above. So it's got this cool, I don't know how much the light picks that up. It's got this depth to it and the sheen, and then this moss-like texture growing up the base of this, like he did this like red rock sandstone kind of vibe. But yeah, he managed to work in some verdigris. Yeah, he's been getting a lot of practice between Temu halls and yeah, his own projects. I am not. It's funny. I used to run a paint store, and I've done painting in my, painted walls in my day. But my artistic skill set is in other directions, let's say. But Mike has been getting good. I think Mike's at work tonight, but we'll be seeing him tomorrow. Tomorrow's game night. Every night is game night. We'll be back here tomorrow afternoon. For those of you in the Eastern time zone, let's say 4 hours before this one started, roughly, maybe 3 hours before this one started. So yeah, the stretch goals, 100 character creation questions, which I think is going to be awesome in character creation, but also to pull out every time the party takes a long rest. What do you talk about at the campfire? Roll the D100, and you get these little moments of, exploration, exposition. We've also unlocked 100 PC/NPC physical traits and then personality traits. And those are personally, I'm really happy to make for all of us, but for myself, those will be in my Dungeons Masters kit for sure, because what is the defining feature of this shopkeep or this blacksmith or this guard? Boom, roll 2 D100s, or, this is going to be a little more sophisticated than a D100 table. I think this is going to be closer to a spread. I don't know if it's going to get the full treatment yet. These are stretch goals. We haven't cooked them up yet. But I have a vision of, like, more of a spread, nested tables. I like a good nested table. So you can roll a D100, but you can also roll maybe, let's say, one of every die. Those are also nice to have in combat. Here's 12 goblins, and usually I'll just rattle them off as numbers, especially in the learning Pathfinder. I've kind of like laxed on some of my other, on some of the narrative Game Master foci. But yeah, this goblin's number 1, and this goblin's number 2, and I call this guy number 3, versus like this goblin's got an eye patch, and this goblin's got a pot on his head, and maybe the guy with the pot on his head has an AC of +1. That's an old standby of mine. But maybe there is no mechanical influence to all of these things. It just makes it easier for you to track HP on your side, and for the players to track, especially once they start moving around, who's who, what's where. So that'll be fun to have. Or this goblin is curmudgeonly because you start talking to him. This goblin has a Brooklyn accent. I don't know. There'll be 100 of those to choose from. And because we had 100 people, we're over 100, but 100 people have found kindness in their hearts, or you believe in this project enough, support the Verdigris table enough to have backed this thing, which feels freaking awesome. So I unlocked 100 additional NPCs. Anyone who pledged at the producer tier can make a non-player character that will appear in this compendium, as well as getting their name in the credits. However, all of the first 100 also get a non-player character. So if you were among the first 100 and you are at the producer tier, you get multiple non-player characters, if you want them, which, well, I mean, why wouldn't you? I'm going to build those out a little bit. We'll see how involved that gets. I want these things to be useful in prep and useful in play. If you've watched any of these streams or downloaded the free download, the big old PDF of this, then you know already these are little kind of compressed nuggets of information and inspiration. I don't want to hand you a paragraph or a page and a half to read while you're running the game. I want you to be able to roll the die, look at the table, read a thing in a few seconds, and run with it, opposed to, digesting pages and pages and pages and texts. Yo, what's up, man? So, it depends on your world. See, I've run in several different worlds in the last couple of years, so I don't have headcanon right now of accents. I'm also from I don't know if you can tell, I am from New York. I'm from Long Island originally. People are surprised to hear that because I'm not from that part of Long Island. But yeah, I lived in Queens for a while. Bugbears from Jersey, but like not that Jersey Shore vibe, but like the Tony Soprano vibe, right? The guy who's like, he's big, right? He's a strength-based character, but like he's surprisingly light on his feet, and it's very easy to underestimate not only his stealth and his speed, but his intelligence. You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Chris is offering to print out models for people to download, which is quite the sign up. But this is already thanks to Chris and Kelf and Brad out there. So many folks. Lucas has created stuff already for this. This is already a community project, which feels awesome. It barely exists yet. The demo is out there. It's in people's hands. Check out the playlist of other people doing what we're going to do tonight because it's so cool. I mean, Brad cooked up, I want to say four player characters for your prep method. We got to talk about that. Maybe this is the week, man. Brad over at Dire Den is in the midst of a series talking about basically adventure prep, campaign prep, and he has a nice rubric of getting your boxes checked, clues and NPCs. And it's mnemonic. I am ill and speaking stream of consciousness, so I forget the delicious little crunchy details of that system. But go check out Dire Den. One, praising this project, but also all of the other content cooked up there. So we've also unlocked 100 ways to drop info, hooks, etc. And this is going to be a bunch of different things at once. And I almost didn't include this because it is a little amorphous, a little nebulous. Yeah, well, no. We're just files, ladies and gentlemen. We're not no physical products. The Game Master's Compendium is going to be a digital product, but for this low price of exactly the same, you are gaining the right as an added benefit to purchasing the PDF at whichever tier you support us at. You also get the right to purchase a print-on-demand copy at cost, basically. So like I make $0 off of that. You get it as if you were a wholesaler if you want. That's an optional thing. I got to look at formatting a little bit. I may actually end up making a hardcover because I want a hardcover. I'm going to look at the logistics of offering a hardcover and a soft cover, so there's an even cheaper price point, but this hardcover is going to be, it depends how many stretch goals we hit, but it's going to be incredibly affordable because you're literally, the creator's not making any money off of it. You're paying the printer and the distributor, and it's direct, right? So there is no middleman controlling the distribution side of things. Prints and ships to you. Pretty cool option. I guess there are cheaper books out there right now because Amazon seems to be blowing out all of their D&D stuff. It's it's Prime days or whatever, but there's like scary cheap, like Van Richten's was $16, $17. You are signed up for a hardcover. Backers will get an email from DriveThruRPG, and that is the portal through which you will download the PDF. If you absolutely can't figure that out, then send me an email. I will get you a PDF copy. But I imagine most people watching this have dealt with either DriveThruRPG or unknowingly dealt with DriveThruRPG because they've dealt with the Dungeon Masters Guild, which is one bookshelf. It's one and the same parent company. So they're going to send you an email once the compendium is done. We're making it bigger and bigger. I've promised April. I'm hoping to beat that, but I'm promising April that all of this will be done. But we keep adding to it, including 100 ways to drop info, hooks. I think that's going to be an interesting one. Stay tuned. I think that's one you're going to have to see. And we just unlocked over the weekend. I was sick. I don't know if you can tell. I was out of commission this weekend. But over this weekend, we hit 100 outdoor events and encounters, and we're creeping up on 100 basically indoor events, dungeon dressing. So if you need to add a little detail to any encounter, random or otherwise in prep, those, again, are things that I'm excited to have in my kit. So to keep going through this, because we were asked, and chat is my master, 100 pieces of dungeon dressing is what's on deck. If we hit 5K, a universal archetype, full spread. So I'm going to do basically spread number 51, which I'm going to consider more of a multiplier. You can use this by itself if you want to make fantasy hero, but it also is going to feel, for the most part, I think there'll be some clashes somewhere with certain entries on certain archetypes, but for the most part, these are going to be 100 entries that you can use in tandem with the original 100 from your archetype. So yeah, just more options, the better. In a way that's going to be formatted so it's not overwhelming. It's a separate thing which you can pull from and draw inspiration from. I think this one in particular will be the kind of thing that players and dungeon masters maybe, just choose off of, as opposed to rolling dice. But random number generation is always a great way for inspiration to unfold. And then, yeah, we are into the spreads. Excuse me. An NPC full 2-page spread, a faction full 2-page spread, a dynamic monster full page spread, because like monsters need motivations and all of these, it's not going to be quite exactly what the, an NPC or the character archetype spreads are, but man, again, talking about like differentiating your goblins, if they're all from Brooklyn and the bugbears from Jersey, that's a hell of a start. But you run through Cragmaw, right? The hideout, and then the red brands, and now you're at the castle, and it's just like, all right, this is the 50th goblin. How can I make him distinct? Well, this goblin's got hopes and dreams, man. He's trying to make it to Carnegie Hall. That might be in there. I'm not sure yet. We're going to cook it up if we hit it. Now, we're getting ambitious here, folks, but like, why not? Swing for the fences. A big bad evil guy or gal, full spread. That, I mean, I'm excited to make, let alone have, like, bad guy motivations is as good as it gets, I think. And then if we hit 10K, which is, sky's the limit, but like, we'll just hit 1 million. People hit 1 million left and right. So yeah, give me 1% of that. And we're talking about 12 more spreads. Now, that's a lot of work, which I'm excited to do. But, okay, now you have a spread for your archetype, and you're going to have a spread for your class if it's one of the dozen core classes. And okay, you roll up something that is beyond those because you're doing an artificer, you're doing one of the bonus ones at a Pathfinder, then okay, maybe we're going to have to squint at the rogue, say, or whatever it may be. But now you're going to have 2 spreads to roll on if you want to, and to choose all sorts of, just tie-ins to the world that the Dungeon Master's creating. As the player, as the Dungeon Master, now you're going to have full sets of plot hooks and settings and monster concepts and even magic items tailor-made for that particular kind of character. Marvel's only great because the bad guys have strong motivations. Yeah, I mean, I would argue that the best DC is Batman. I mean, I'm in movie mode, but I'm probably in comic mode too, because of the bad guys, right? The best thing about Batman are the villains. Most of the time, there's weak links in any chain, and I'm a little behind on my Marvel. I'm not a huge comic guy these days, and I'm a bit behind on the movies. So yeah, what I was thinking about doing tonight, other than chatting with chat, which I am here for, gang, is one core concept of the Game Master's Compendium of Explosive Creation, which was almost called Connections, is that this is for players and Game Masters, and both at once, right? Individually, but also together. and going back and forth, a little from column A, a little from column B. We can work together in character creation at session 0, but also between sessions. Maybe you're in the middle of a campaign, right? Maybe you've already chosen what you're going to run next. Players already have their characters, and you're interested in making it so that your players give a shit about the world you are building, about the adventure you are running, about the story you are telling. So there's different ways to do that. This is actually tomorrow's video. Tomorrow we're going to do a quick little video about this very topic. But spoilers, the illustrious Matt Colville made a whole video about this, and his advice was essentially chase them up a tree. If the player characters can't rise to the challenge, can't answer the question, can't survive without engaging with the lore of your world, then then you have forced them to engage with the lore of your world, and that's effective. Far be it from me to question Matt Colville's advice on YouTube in his own house, but there's got to be another way, if not a better way, right? Other than threatening the lives of the characters. I mean, I run a fairly deadly game. I'm all for threatening the lives of the characters, but at the same time, maybe we can give them other reasons to give a shit when their lives or the life of the player characters don't depend on it. So how do you do that? Well, you collectively collaborate with the characters, being connected to non-player characters, and inciting incidents in their backstory, but also your lore and world and factions and magic items. Bespoke world building done easy, right? I'm not saying the player's got to roll up a novel of a backstory for their character, and then the dungeon master has to incorporate that novel of a backstory into the adventure that they have already, prepared. And let us not forget, do that another 3, 4, 5 times, depending on how many players are at the table. And unless we've done this collectively, there's no saying that this person's 5 pages of background and this person's 5 pages of background make any kind of sense together contextually in the world that you are creating. So again, little actionable nuggets at the right resolution and beautiful 2-page spreads to come up in play. So we've talked about this a couple times now, but we game masters can get in the weeds. I've done it, man. You're making up a little dungeon, and it's a 5-room dungeon, right? And you've got pages and pages of what happened here, millennia ago, before the current occupants took it over from the last people who are now haunting it. You need some of that stuff, right, to add depth to your world. But so a little of that goes a long way, and it's fun to do. There's nothing wrong with that. But I think a lot of folks, especially a lot of new bespoke world building, needs to be the title of your next book. Yeah, I mean, maybe it'll be the subtitle of this one. This one's a mouthful. But this one's also, this is two things at once. I really tried to make a Swiss Army knife of a tool here, because this is bespoke world building out the wazoo, and that's kind of what I end up talking about the most, because that's what I'm into. But this is also character creation, and if you watch, Lucas picked this thing up. He talks about character creation in inspiring ways. Dude can go for hours, and those two things combining, right? Creating that world building in a way, and the character in a way, so that there's gaps that can, little Lego blocks that connect to each other. That's the good shit. That's when so how do you make the players care about your world? Well, the players don't care about your world. The players care about their characters. The players care about their stuff. We all care about our own stuff, right? We've got a lot less room for everybody else's stuff than we do our stuff. It sounds harsh, but it's it's true. That's human psychology, right? I mean, some of us have worked on empathy and expanded our ability to care about other people more and more. But at the same time, most of us on our day-to-day are more concerned about our own stuff than other people's stuff, or we're concerned about other people's stuff all the freaking time, and this is our 3 hours of escape. And this is the one part of my life where I get to care about my stuff and only my stuff, right? And there's different angles to this. But if I can make your stuff and my stuff the same stuff, now theoretically we both care around the same amount. The game master is always going to care more, most likely. Who wants it more, right? The person organizing game night, the person running the games, most of the time. I mean, I got some great players. Some of them are here tonight, so I am not crying about that. But yeah, the players are only going to care mostly. Right, yeah, I mean, exactly. It's an escape for people. It's funny you say that. So I put this, I don't know if this actually ended up in the Lost Mine series or it was alongside of that. I started this channel very much focused on like lessons for new dungeon masters. I wanted to talk to the beginner out there and tell them the things that weren't necessarily being talked about. Because what we're doing tonight, it's like higher level, if not advanced and like intermediate, right, game mastering. But when I first started out, I was astonished at how all my friends and my loved ones, right, people who I cared about deeply, who were good folks, became total jerks when they played D&D. It's called Murder Hobos, right, is like the extreme version of that to a degree. But like, you're empathetic all day, right? And now you're released into a world without consequences. We're gonna try on acting like jerks, and that doesn't make you a jerk. That makes you human. But the problem is, the book assumes you're gonna be heroic. So what is a beginner dungeon master to do? Plenty of stuff and whatever. That's another stream. But yes, the especially new, but even experienced players, we're going to find different ways to do it. You're not rolling up a lawful good character by the book every time. Rarely, in fact. That's not a lot of people's fantasy, and I think because I think the most generous reading of it is that a lot of us live that way day to day, more or less, right? I hope so. So yeah, when we get to be the badass riding the fire horse over Skull Mountain with the lightning staff, yeah, man, let's play some heavy metal and bust some heads. We'll ask questions later. I get it. So how do you get the players, especially if you're dealing with an extreme version of that, right? How do we get the players to stop murdering everybody so that you can do a little bit of this lore drop, not only to like show them your beautiful bespoke world, but like also so that you can drive the adventure forward, so they know where to go next to find the other people that they're supposed to kill in the first place. Well, you connect them to organizations and NPCs, and you do it above board, above the table, both in character creation, between sessions. Some of this stuff maybe you want to keep closer to the chest, right? Let's get down to a table. Example spreads. These are what they do. Acolyte, the first and only. No, there are many, but we'll look at Acolyte to start. These are 2-page spreads. 1, 2 go together. So when you open the book, because again, I'm going to have a hardcover version of this soon. I'm manifesting it. I'm making it happen. Boop. So these 2-page spreads, the first page, the left page, when you're looking at it open, is going to be the player-facing page. Motivations, calls to adventure, right? Why is your character out there adventuring instead of acolyting or whatever else they were doing before they were adventuring? And the potential character arc for these guys. Where are we going with this? And that might prove to be different as you progress, right? If you know everything at level 1, why are we playing this game? Beyond your, adventure, but like your character's development. Things are going to happen. They are going to react to those things. But if you have a concept, a broad, generalized concept at first, you can kind of lean in to the beginning of that, so you've got room to work. Because if you have a fully realized character out the gate at level 1, they can't level up as a character. They can level up as a character sheet. They can gain more abilities, right? But what happens when you put, you're not, unless you're running a wizard, you're probably not putting those ability score increases into intelligence, right? But your character's learning things maybe the hard way. Maybe they've had a couple brushes with death, Maybe they dropped to 0 hit points once or twice. What are the consequences to that? How do they continue to evolve and grow? So having some idea of that, even like acknowledging the possibility of that, is nice in my opinion. So that's why that's in here for sure. The next column here is maybe not going to be every dungeon master's cup of tea to extend to the players to collaboratively work here. And this is the point where I point out that none of this is set in stone. You can use this however you so choose. You can rip this thing apart and use it for parts and put it back together in ways that I couldn't even imagine. And come back and tell me about it, because I mean, it's already kind of happening. I've seen people experimenting with this in ways. Check out the Blank Slate podcast. They did some crazy stuff with this. It was like they're gonna break my thing. I haven't even finished it yet, and it not only did it work, it was cool, and it was fun. It was fun to watch. They're sleeping in London right now, I bet. But yeah, that's definitely worth checking out. But yeah, you can adjust all of these things. So if you pull the Gardens of Serenity, right? That's what we pulled when we made a character off of this one, the last stream. Gardens of Serenity, Vineyard and Abbey, Keeping a Vow of Silence, and a Powerful Secret. So out of the gate, that's like all of these things are trying to be very evocative, very flavorful, but adaptable, right? These are adaptogens. They do a lot, but they can fit in a bunch of different places. Again, they're the cool Lego bricks, and the most ornate control panel flat thing can only go on one way. I'm trying to make puzzle pieces that will interlock in a bunch of different settings and contexts. But if you have to change things to make them fit even better, do it. You got to break off a piece of that, change the Gardens of Serenity. You already have a name for some abbey somewhere, and you can put some grapevines out back. Or maybe there's some, I don't even know, man, some alchemical cocktail that is a linchpin of your world building, or it's just something that you always you thought was cool and you wanted to put in there. So okay, they're growing barley and hops, or whatever, mushrooms. Take your pick. Make these things fit your world and your character. If you're doing both at the same time, right now I am collaborating with the players and making their stuff connect to my world. So now the player cares about the Gardens of Serenity out of the gate. Or at least their character does, right? And hopefully that makes the player. But if the murder hobo walks into the abbey, these monks got treasure, let's go. They are not going to tell anybody that we robbed from them because they have a vow of silence. Or, hey, these folks, they freaking raised you, right? Whatever. You have a relationship with them. You know them by reputation. Adapt and run with it, but there's that built-in connection out of the gate. And now we'll chat. Tell me if there's a better way to get engagement, to get player buy-in than right up front, right? Especially. And not every player's going to be interested in this, for sure, but some players are going to pick up the ball and run with it either at session 0, or odds are they're going to hear this and they're going to sit with it and they're going to come back next week, or weeks and weeks down the road when they finally do wander into the Gardens of Serenity, and they're going to have added their own creative stamp to this. Because the cool thing about the compendium, but also just these types of games in general, and you could treat this as a mini game, right? But D&D or Pathfinder is the magic to it all is it's happening collectively, right? Like the story is being contributed to by everybody at the table and the dice, right? The gods of randomness and chance come in and will have their due. So let us build a little adventure. And we've done this before, and we're just gonna build out the framework. I'm not gonna draw a map and stat out monsters today, but we're gonna build an adventure, and we're going to pull from a bunch of different ones. I think let's do 4. 4 is a good number. I'm gonna write down the gardens. Well, no, chat. Do we got people in chat still? Somebody give me some dice rolls, please. If you do not, I will roll physical dice. I got Mikey's tower here, but I'm gonna roll a D4. Oh, we're gonna need some D6s tonight. It's gonna be a very D6 heavy night. So you can go to our Discord server. If you are not a member of the Discord, please come hang out. It's open to everybody. There's a little Patreon enclave, but the vast majority of it is fully accessible to everybody for free. And within there, I've installed Avre, so you can roll dice. !R 4d6 will get you a 4d6 roll. I'm gonna roll. Oh no, not a d20. I'm gonna roll a d4, just because I'm gonna put a friendly faction here. For the Shadows of the Sacred Flame, spies who infiltrate and monitor secular organizations. Ooh, that is juicy. All right, so we have an acolyte in the mix. They have a relationship with the Shadows of the Sacred Flame, and man, that's cool. So the thing about making thousands of table entries is not always, but if you are everybody roll. If you're doing it right. You kind of go into this like flow state. No. I'm doing 4 of these. And we're gonna mix and match. Maybe we're even gonna do some voting. So yeah, you kind of go into a flow state, and even sometimes they come fast and sometimes they come slow. Sometimes you do 2 pages in an hour. Sometimes you do half a page in a day. But when you come back to it, you don't remember everything that you did. And that's, I mean, maybe I should be embarrassed saying that, admitting that in public, but Shadows of the Sacred Flame, yeah, you just come up with hundreds and hundreds of ideas. And I do go back and like try to check some of them, make sure everything's distinct. But leaning into the archetypes, leaning into the thematic aspect of everything keeps it from getting too samey. Shadows of the Sacred Flame, spies. And I mean, right out of the gate, I'm getting these feel like monks, right? Not necessarily clerics. These feels like monks, or I mean, maybe they're more charisma based, right? Depending on what sort of secular organizations they are monitoring. Either that, yeah, they're hopping roof to roof, spying on these guys, or they're infiltrating. These are government aides, right? So that's cool. All right, so we've got Brad hooked us up. 4516. So let's go. You know what I'm gonna load up, and then we're gonna mix and match, see what kind of connections we get. So 4516 we're gonna do for our acolyte. Chris or anybody else, give me another 4d6 on deck, please and thank you. All right, 4 is the Serpentine Sect, corrupt clergy who use their influence for personal gain and pleasure. Ooh, that sounds wrong. Serpentine Sect. I mean, I'm getting lizard peoples. maybe Naga. Serpentine sect, but like again, this is a perfect case in point. If you have a, I just got the notification for people rolling. If the Serpentine sect is lizard people, right? I'm going to adapt it. I'm writing lizard people. Anybody watch Y-Files? Lizard people. That's a new YouTube channel that I'm interested in these days. I've gone on a binge. He's doing cool stuff. If you like whatever Fringe, he does it very well. Lizard people. So yeah, if there are lizard people, you're running what? You're running Saltmarsh, right? And you don't necessarily have Naga or who are this? Oh shoot, who are the snake folk? I mean Naga, but Naga's like the snake. Dang y'all. But yeah, let's say you have Yanti. Jeez, yeah, that would have bothered me. We recently at PGX 2 weekends ago, we had Bob Worldbuilder hosted a trivia. He pulled out the old D&D Trivial Pursuit. Yanti, thank you. Knew I could count on chat. And yeah, it became a group effort because there's a lot. You think you know D? I mean Yanti, I should have known, but as you fill up your head with your own crap, something's got to give. Have I run Yanti? I don't think I've actually run. I've had them on deck. I've had them waiting in the wings, right? I've had them like on the map, but I don't think anyone ever. No, I don't think anyone ever interacted with them. Yeah, never ran Yanti. Nagas. I mean, like the spirit Naga. I like to pull that out every so often. All right, so we got the Serpentine sect of the lizard people. So yeah, if there's Yanti in your world that you've been like, or you've never gotten to use them, and now you're excited to use them, you lizard people who have infiltrated the clergy, or, I mean, corrupt clergy who use their influence for personal gain and pleasure. So this could be like some weird like snake handler stuff. This is also just like corruption in any organization is easy to roll with. 5, Sister Seraphine, an acolyte that's in truth a devil seducing anyone she can to corruption. I mean, so she right away, that feels like one and the same. She's a lizard purple because the Yanti were into, I mean, Forgotten Realms canon were into demons, I believe, not devils, but squint. And I feel like, both a demon and a devil. I mean, a devil that she's a devil's going to be more likely to get joy out of corrupting, I think, a clergy. And again, I'm not telling you the sect of any of these organizations, right? Presumably, this is all your acolytes' background, and that again, I would take. Open up the Dungeon Master's Guide. We've had this conversation before. Open up the Dungeon Master's Guide to find out how to make Dungeons and Dragons happen, right? As a bright-eyed, wet behind the ears, brand new Dungeon Master, you pick up the book, you open it up, and it's make a pantheon, right? How was your universe created? All right, now fill out your solar system and the continents and like. Now, you know, months later, try to figure out how to do a skill check. So you don't need that stuff to start running, and you don't need to figure that all out on your own, because I mean, my buddy Chris here rolled up a cleric last time, and we figured out, all right, what's your vibe? What's your character's vibe? All right, we were exploring Golarion, so there were like answers already here. We weren't like homebrewing too. We adapted, but we were like finding the answers that fit. But we did that together, and that god became one of the most important gods in the story we were telling, in the game we were running, and. Yeah, we both cared a lot more. So, yeah, when you have a cleric or you have a paladin or any, theologically minded character, you can let them set the tone to a degree. bring in whatever. That first season of Critical Role, she's worshiping Saren Ray, which isn't even in 5e. And it was all the better for it. So she's a devil. I'm getting themes of corruption here. We've got an evocative location. Hidden shrine, far from civilization, overgrown and long reclaimed by nature. Hidden shrine. I'm gonna try to speed this up a little bit. 6. Thematic monsters are dark abomination, ancient, eldritch, horror, older than the gods, who resents their creations. Man. Give me some good Cthulhu vibes every time. Dark abomination. So right there, I mean, my gears are already turning. Like, I just made a whole little story out of that for our player who rolled up an acolyte. And that's cool, right? That's great. But, there's different ways to homebrew stuff, for sure, or adapt stuff. But it happens naturally sometimes, and I kind of let it. And when it happens naturally, if you got good folks around your table, like when it becomes the acolyte show, people can kind of sense it, and they're willing to take the step back and let people have their turn in the spotlight. Again, if you have good, mature, empathetic humans around the table, things like that happen. But I have, custom crafted moments, but I've rarely set out to make a full adventure for one player character at a time. And that's a perfectly valid way of doing stuff. I'm sure someone out there is doing that and rotating every session, and like, I don't know, maybe one day we'll run a campaign like that. That could be cool. But I think it's going to be much more interesting if we interweave these things. So I don't need to use all 4 of those things together. I mean, a couple of them are together already. Two of those things are one thing in my mind to start. But I don't know, who knows? We can break them apart. Should we do Acrobat? Acrobat feels very different from Acolyte. And then we'll take it from there. We have a wisdom-based character. We have a dex-based character. We'll do 2 more, but we got Chris helped us out. Can we get another batch of 4d6? Somebody out there. 4 antagonistic organization, the local city watch. So this is our acrobat. Shoop. Acro. And that feels like a rogue to me, but it could be a monk, but it could be, I don't know, maybe they're no longer an acrobat because they were bad at it, right? Maybe you're not dex-based. Or maybe you're strength-based. Maybe you're the spotter. Maybe you're not the person flipping, you're the person flipping. Throwing the person into the air. Local city watch. So right out of the gate, now I have like this urban, I mean, the town guard, if we're in Phandalin, or the singular constable, right? An organization. The cool thing about factions is that they scale, right? They're different. An NPC is one dude, but a faction, you thought it was one dude, but that one dude has a little thread tying him to all sorts of other things, which can progressively get more and more challenging as we level up. And then, hey, you got yourself a campaign. Local City Watch suspects them of every crime for no reason. It's just profiling. Oh, man. Woof. All right. So that's a rich... The law is hassling you, man. And it's just profiling. Just because you're a circus freak doesn't mean... Just because you could climb up and, open that window with your cunning action, right? Even as a bonus action. Doesn't mean you're gonna, right? That's profiling, man. And profiling is wrong. 1. Anti-Gravity Baal. Claims to be the greatest of all acrobats, suspected of sabotaging others. Anti-gravity. So I'm getting some magical vibes too. Anti-gravity. The old reverse gravity. Anti-gravity Baal. Excuse me. So that feels like probably someone who's not part of the local city watch, right? So now we have 2 distinct things. Oh, exactly. I love the Conan the Librarian, right? The smart librarian. It's fun to go against type. Maybe you know let's lean into that. The next batch of whatever the next one we do is, let's do that. Let's lean against type. So yeah, maybe Bale has like convinced the City Watch. Maybe he's the one robbing people, and it's putting it on you. We got a 4 for evocative locations. The sinking forest. The ground is a sucking mire. The only way through is vines and branches. I mean, that's a cool. I want to see that battle map, but like, yeah, the floor is lava. I don't know if Chris is. You probably have. I love running a good swamp because you put a bunch of quagmires, puddles, ponds, boggy bits on the battle map, right? And like obviously those are difficult terrain. Those are hard to get around. But somebody hits one, and you do a little rolly roll, and you see if anything comes out. Maybe this is the home of the lizard people, right? Or the sinking forest is a great place for the hidden shrine, right? So the cleric wants to go here because their magical MacGuffin, or the lore of their people, or the secret to unlocking the identity of the devil that's infiltrating, insert your plot hooks here. They want to go to the sinking forest, but especially I'm seeing your dwarf and full plate is not necessarily built to navigate the forest, whereas our acrobat here, who's just going to help out his buddy, he's freaking George of the Jungle in this place. This is playing right to their strengths. And for thematic monsters, we got stone gargoyles attack anything above the roof line, grappling and falling like stones. Oh boy, monster tactics. That there's a lot of things that I'm going to take from Pathfinder into. I mean, we're going to play 5th edition again. I don't know what anyone's playing next year. I don't think we know what's going to go on next year, folks. We could talk about Hasbro's stock price dropping in half. Hey, it's a Dolly. What's up, Dolly? She doesn't like to be exploited for views, and I don't blame her. Neither do I. Stone gargoyles. But yeah, we're playing 5.5 or 6th edition or Pathfinder 2e revised or like some other stuff that Daggerheart, the MCDM game, maybe all of the above, man. I'm just saying, current news, the City Watch people doing all sort of discrimination. Yeah. Not even that current, man. Again, I'm from New York, and there was a point in I wasn't a child, but when I was a younger man, Rudy Giuliani was considered a hero. He was America's mayor, y'all. I don't need to make this political, but have you seen what that gentleman looks like or sounds like, or I don't even know what's going on in his brain these days, but yeah, he's in trouble. But yes, when stop and frisk was a whole thing, and that wasn't just Giuliani, that was Bloomberg, and yeah, now we're less worried about New York national politics, but Santos is an interesting circus act as well. Let's leave it at that. So that's two, and I'm already seeing some connections here. Let's talk about, can we please get another batch of 4d6? And I might roll one. Should we do Animal Whisperer? Should we go right down the line? Let's skip around a little bit. I'm going to skip Animal Whisperer and Archivist, because we just did those. Let's do Artisan. It feels like maybe a strength-based character. Could be. All right, so let's go against type, right? So an Artisan Right away I said strength based. So let's make him a smarty pants. Let's make him the you know, the genius. Well, no, it isn't intelligence, right? It's a blue collar profession, but it's also like it's the trades, it's the skilled trades. But still, maybe let's go with the wizard, who until recently was a bricklayer, right? Maybe he was like, in his spare time, he was obsessed with those those tile math theorems, right? Those like ancient Greek, but no, I mean, to this day in theoretical mathematics, there's like these like tile problems of like non-repeating. Can I get four shapes with, this particular set of polygons? Whatever. We're going to make the genius wizard bricklayer. I like it. We're not going to worry too much about fleshing out that character today. We're going to make an adventure for him. The Guild Busters. Noble elite who fear collective bargaining as a threat to their wealth and power. We are getting a very, potentially politicized. Maybe that's just my mind makes things politicized. The Guild Busters. I think factions just do that. I think factions bring the politics with them. Keep your politics out of my fantasy world. I hear you out there. The Noble Elite Gangbusters. Maybe it's the Pinkertons. Going back to recent WotC history. Bricklayer who started by learning mold, earth, and mending to make his job easier. Yes. And see, this is the thing. This is where the juice comes in, because like multiple minds are better than one. I'm happy with my brain. I think I got a pretty good one in the brain lottery, but yeah, it's when minds meet that sparks start to fly, right? So this whole endeavor is me trying to get like the best parts out of my brain. I'm juicing the creativity, putting it onto the page so that other people can interact with it, be inspired by it, and make cool things. Because yeah, obviously there are, in this magical world, right? Dude's been laying bricks. His daddy was laying bricks. His daddy's daddy was laying bricks. He's training his daughter to lay bricks. And one day he sees a wizard come by and like, whoop, open up a doorway and, make a gate in the beautiful wall he's been creating. And, he's no dummy. A lot of people misunderestimate him. But yeah, he goes out and he studies. That's why he's an excellent bricklayer, and that's why he's going to be a great wizard, because like let's presume we're starting at level 1 here. So yeah, mold, earth, and mending. I mean, yeah, and then you can flavor. If I'm your game master, I will allow you to flavor your magic missile as spectral force bricks. I saw an awesome writing prompt where universe magic is very technical and expensive, but he specializes in one of the only people that offer cheap, shitty magic. I mean, this is the kind of rabbit hole you can go down and become crazy. And people have. There's a Reddit thread every day about someone trying to reconcile the economics of baseline 5th edition and the existence of magic, right? Before our player characters go from level 1 to casting even like 3rd, 4th level spells in a matter of weeks. And like, you guys took 18 long rests between learning Mold Earth and Fireball, right? But yeah, I like low level D&D. I like, I like magic and fantasy, but I like low magic, right? I do like the idea of like, yeah, there's some guy up in the mountains in a tower made of obsidian resurrecting people, working on a way to summon a demon that'll take over the world. Like, of course. But in our local hamlet, there's a hedge wizard, right? And there's one dude, and he knows one cantrip, and he can do it maybe twice a day. Flavor is free. Amen, brother. Doesn't take much to get me ranting. All right, so we got the Guild Busters. We've got Carmack Thessalon. Hires artisans to work on his sprawling manse, finds pretext to not pay. I mean, this feels inspiring to our character's backstory, maybe even. Carmack Thessalon. Carmack Thessalon. That's Carmack's voice. Carmack Thessalon. I hate him already. Carmack Thessalon hires artisans. And maybe, you know, we walk into town and we're in the bar and we hear about this guy from some of the, you know, the local people just having a drink and like, yeah, the noble up on the hill. Maybe this is a wizard, right? Well, the guy on the hill stiffed us. He owes us gold. The right kind of characters are marching up that, the right kind of players are marching up that hill right away. Maybe we're going to have to, you know, we want to embellish that and embed that into our story a little bit more. Because then, you know, it raises the question, where's all the money going? It's going to, you know, it's going to the lizard people. He's secretly a lizard people. 5, 3, 1. Artisan alley, narrow street, filled with sound and smells of industry by day, but crime by night. Artisan alley. I like that. Artisan alley. Artisan alley is where those gargoyles are. Yeah. I don't know why, but it feels right. So I'm going to make it fit now. Thematic monsters. Elemental animus. Spirit from elemental planes that can occupy and animate a substance. I mean, imagine if you were laying some bricks and one of them started dancing around or fighting back, didn't want to be mortared. Elemental animus. Elemental animus. Especially if we're going, like, into the... Yeah, we have, like, earthbender vibes. Elemental animus. And a gargoyle is, by the book, or by one of several of these books, is an elemental. You know, I want it to be, a construct, but it is an elemental. But it's, yeah, flavor is free. It's your world. All right, I'm gonna make one more, and then we're gonna do the cool stuff. Artist versus artisan. I'm gonna do barkeep. I love barkeep. There was gonna be 5 in this demo copy, but I made it 7 because I wanted everybody to have access to the barkeep right away. No waiting. So that's, oh, I should be using my tower. That's a one, we'll count it. The town council. Corrupt officials demand frequent bribes from local businesses. Oh boy. So we have, and you see these themes start to coalesce. We pulled corruption. The dice are speaking to us tonight. I can hear them, ladies and gentlemen. I can hear them. And that's why I like, I mean, this is my style, right? It's not necessarily everybody's style, but I like the fact that the dice have an influence, right? I roll without a screen. I might not for this campaign, but like I haven't used a Dungeon Master screen in years. For online games, yeah, there was a stretch where we only played online, right? I would roll mostly on the table. Occasionally, I would roll like secret checks, right? And I also like physical dice, so I would still roll physical dice. But yeah, in person, I haven't used a Dungeon Master screen in a while because whatever the dice say, that's what's happening. The dice are the 5th player, the 6th player at the table. And I like that because things happen. I am just adjudicating and judging and like elaborating and narrating and making connections. But like, sure, yeah, I built this tool set, right? I like put the building blocks. No punches pulled. I don't pull punches. Which also, from the strategic side of things, is if you're, you know, some people don't care much about the story side of things, and that's cool. We do run a pretty tactical game. You might not know it from this, but the other cool thing about surrendering the secrecy, letting everybody in behind the curtain, is I don't get to fudge. I don't get to pull punches, but I get to actively participate in the strategy conversation, right? I'm going to play the monsters hard. The monsters want to win the fight. I'm going to try to It depends on the monster, but I'm gonna try. My job is to do what the monsters would do in this situation. So I'm not pulling punches that way, and I'm not pulling punches with the dice. But that allows me that objective fairness allows me to be like, well, if you move over here, you get to do this with the players, and it gets rid of. I mean, again, I've got two awesome groups of people, but it kind of short circuits any potential for that like antagonistic DM feeling too. At least, again, in my experience. The town council. So yeah, tonight we've gotten corruption 4 times. The City Watch and clearly the town council are not one, or they're different arms of the same institution. And we did get some like urban vibes with Artisan Alley, and the gargoyles were presumed to be on top of buildings. I mean, they may be at the hidden shrine. All right, so the town council's corrupt. The sect is getting corrupted by the lizard people. I mean, maybe the lizard people are the big bad villains. 3. The rival or enemy Oswald Wolfson, notorious bully who enjoys starting brawls, secretly cursed with lycanthropy. That feels like a little interjection. I have an impulse, and I feel like a lot of us dungeon masters, especially once we get a taste for it, we're in the mood, we're running here. We want to connect every dot, right? We want to become Charlie Day with the thumbtacks and the threads connecting everything Pepe Sylvia style. But once in a while, there's just a werewolf hanging out at the bar, right? And this is the bartender too, right? Maybe he knows this guy, doesn't realize it. Oswald Wolfson. See what you did there, Ryan? Oswald Wolfson. He knows he's a jerk. I mean, it's clear to everybody that he's a bully, but he might not realize lycanthropy. And maybe he's a boar, right? Maybe he's a were-boar. Or insert your cool, maybe he's a were-lizard. Insert your cool lycanthrope here. He's a were-turtle. Quick chat, what's the coolest were-creature that we haven't seen yet? Where are my... Oh no, I'm doing this batch. Yeah, that's a 1. The labyrinthine network of tunnels utilized by moonshiners, bootleggers, and other creatures. That feels like the sewers to me. But yeah, a network utilized by moonshiners, bootleggers, and other creatures. You know there's monsters down there. I mean, maybe that's where Oswald Wolfson is running around. Raven's a solid one. Ravens are cool, and there's a lot of like mythology tied. Like Odin has a raven, but you also get I can't think tonight, man. I'm a little congested, and I think there's less oxygen in my brain. Kenkus, jeez. I mean, they're not quite ravens, but they're basically bear always. Yeah, I love a good werebear. Gators. Ooh, well, the natural enemy of the lizard people is the weregator, who is 100% in the labyrinthine network of tunnels utilized by moonshiners, bootleggers, and other creatures. Where badger digs his own dungeon. Ooh. All right. New stretch goal, where D100 were creatures digs his own dungeon. That to me ties to the earthbending artisan wizard bricklayer now. Yeah, some cool stuff. And the raven's going to be with, yeah, I mean, there's definitely a setting that's just like, oops, all like lycanthropes, an Animorphs setting. The moonshiner sewers. And again, I say this every time, but I want everybody to know this isn't just D100 cool things that Ryan thought up and you should treat as the gospel truth. I want you to adapt. Where dragon? Yeah, I mean, you got Dragonborn And then you've got I was never Dragonlance guy, but the Dragonkin and Dragonlance, which are basically lizard people times kobolds, and then kobolds are kind of secretly my favorite creature, my secret low level CR humanoid kobolds all the way, baby. I rolled up a kobold recently, player character. He was dope. He died. It was perfect. So yeah, that labyrinthine network is now the Moonshiner sewers. So yeah, I'm allowed to change them. You're allowed to change them. If you get an entry, right, and you're like, man, that would be cool, or even you get an entry and you're like, man, that's dumb. You know what would be so much better than that? Cool. This thing did its job. This thing is not, I mean, it's a bunch of prepackaged ideas for you to grab and run with, but it's also formatted like this, set up like this, packed full of really condensed little nuggets to spark ideas, inspiration. So if that happens, run with your idea, not mine. One more time. We're gonna roll the dice. One more time. We're gonna roll the dice. 4. Thematic monster. Hoplites. Plant monsters that try to vine around and intoxicate their targets. My goodness. I love that. I am in love with this. There's not enough interesting plant monsters. Are plants the least represented of the monster types in 5th edition? Will Feral Gator don't play. What is that from? That's ringing a dusty bell. Is that old school? There's very few Will Ferrell movies that I have not seen, but there might be one out there. Gator don't play. Gator, right? There I was never a big hip hop guy, but they're half shark, alligator, half man. Ooh, I'm having flashbacks. That was in like some weird cartoon thing. Half shark, alligator, half man. Half shark, alligator, half man. Dr. Octagon. Half shark, alligator, half man. That's now what's up. What's the relationship between hoplites and the half shark, alligator, half man? I don't know. And there doesn't have to be one. Half shark, alligator, half man. 100% in the sewers, working for the lizard peoples. And this is like, we're at the free association point of the night, ladies and gentlemen, because your boy is super tired because we woke up hours before dawn to drive my wife to the airport. And plants and fae are among the shortest lists. Yeah, fae are interesting because, so in my headcanon, and I would argue you should consider this for all of viewers, you game masters watching. Goblins feel fae to me. They do, right? There's a whole dimension that is equal to, in a lot of ways, is a funhouse mirror version of the material plane, right? As the Shadow Realm is as well. So wouldn't they have like as much variety? And wouldn't, the elves are the only thing that like really came over? So yeah, I like goblins as fae. And now that raises some questions about like, are bugbears fae? Yeah, absolutely. Are hobgoblins fae? Absolutely. What's the stretch goal for Ryan gets drunk on stream and makes crazy characters rants? I mean, I'm doing that sober. I mean, I could start. I don't know if drinking's a good idea right now. Well, 100% agree. Goblinoids are fame. Yeah, I knew I liked you. We gotta hang out. What's the stretch goals for Ryan getting drunk on stream? It makes crazy. If we get 10, I will go buy champagne. If we hit 10K, which is like achievable. It feels wild to be. Setting the bar that high, but at the same time, like, the limit. People are making millions of dollars here. Ladies and gentlemen, watching the stream tonight, if you could assist me, Ryan Doyle, the Vertigo Table, by telling people about this thing, that would be deeply appreciated. I am sure most, if not all of you who are watching this have already backed this, and I am forever in your debt and look forward to including your name in the credits and your immortalizing your non-player characters in this if you chose to support me at that level. But yeah, I mean, sharing this or sharing the Dire Den video about this and showing, another, smaller YouTuber some love. Brian did a video about this. Kelp's Corner has done a few streams on this. He's starting in 45 minutes. He'll probably start right when we're kicking off. If you guys want to hop over to Twitch, maybe I'll go mess with him for a little bit. So yeah, if we hit 10K, yeah, I'll get drunk on stream. Adore this tinderbox of a book. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to monetize my the work here for sure, right? This is a fundraiser. This is a Kickstarter jam, but it's a celebration because this thing's already in the world. You can have if you don't have this is literally the thing that's on the Kickstarter page right now. If you scroll down. And I put it above the stretch goals again because I want people to download the draft version of this. Does it say Nobel instead of Noble at one point? Yes. Are there other typos here? Probably. Again, it's a play test. Is the real one going to be prettier? Yes. Should this have been prettier? Would we be closer to 10K if I did a better job formatting this? Probably. I got a buddy who does a little bit of all right, this is now a multi-level marketing situation, folks. And you're in on the ground floor. If you get 3 people who tell 3 people oozes are the short. There's more plants than oozes. That's a travesty. That ain't right. That ain't right. We need I'm putting an ooze in the labyrinthine network of sewers that the moonshiners are using. Man, oozes are less represented. There's like 4. Maybe that's with like expansions and stuff. That's with like Monsters of the Multiverse. But like the Oobleck and like the baby Oobleck man, oozes are the shortest list. That seems like quite a shame. Man, I'm gonna sit with that. There are now well yeah, the verdigris pyramid. Yes. Oozes are gelatinous cubes. No, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so I recently acquired MCDM's book, Flee Mortals, and it's dope. I've been busy the past few weeks, so I haven't done the deep dive on that yet. But in the OGL kerfuffle, my group didn't really want to transition out of 5e to Pathfinder immediately. I didn't want to be touching WotCs, and especially like early on when I heard a lot of rumors and stuff, because I'm a little more whatever plugged in than some folks. So like back in like, I don't even know, November, December, when I was making the Dragon of Ice Spire Peak playlist, I kind of dropped that and shifted over to Kobold Press. And my goodness, Kobold Press, their adventure was pretty good. I mean, we ran the Scarlet Citadel. It was pretty cool. Their monsters are awesome. Some of them are busted. The CR's broken out of the gate. So yeah, you can't trust official CR ratings. You definitely can't trust third-party CR ratings. But yeah, there was some cool stuff. There was some cool stuff that got some characters in some real trouble. There was a dire gelatinous cube. And then there was like some like ochre jelly hybrid thing. and then the ink thing. Oh, Dragon Rice, help me find this channel. It's funny. So like that's kind of the one that got away. I mean, I got you halfway there, didn't I? I got you a little over halfway there. I think if you started Dragon of Ice Fire Peak, I helped. And I also, in that series, again, I don't know if it's good for my numbers or not to be pointing at people, but like, you know, channels like Dire Den, whatever platform I have to help other people out on YouTube, it's a lonely game out here. So in that Dragon of Ice Fire Peak series, I think every video, it's been a while since I looked at that, but I think every video I pointed at other resources too. But I hope, Zaboon, I helped you with that and didn't leave you hanging in the middle. I know there's a lot of comments on whatever the last one I did is Shrine of Savras. Of like, hey, when's the rest of this going to happen? Maybe one day I'll do it. But I need Hasbro to just act right for a couple months, man. I thought we were there. It's been a weird week. I don't know if you guys have been, and like, I'm not even that plugged in right now, and Hasbro's doing some weird stuff. It's not looking great, man. We'll be fine. And when Ryan's gonna get drunk, and if we hit 10 grand, Ryan's gonna get drunk, and like, I'm just gonna go off about why Hasbro tanking Dungeons and Dragons is gonna hurt and suck, but also might be the best thing that happens to this hobby. So stay tuned for the go tell 3 people to tell 3 people, and we can make that happen. But yeah, I don't know. If we want to talk about that, we absolutely can. But I set out to talk about building an adventure with different little building blocks to appeal to these 4 characters that we've just decided on. So we've got lizard people, right? And maybe the cleric doesn't know that these lizard people are in fact corrupting their clergy, or planning to, or attempting to. Maybe the acrobat already knows that somebody's corrupted the City Watch, or just that the City Watch is corrupt and hassling them, right? Anti-gravity Bale is maybe our Raven. He is now. Yeah. Or do I want to make maybe the gargoyle? But that's too... No. Gargoyles are not contagious. Yeah, at least, maybe they are. So there's something in the hidden shrine. And we didn't roll for magic items and plot hooks. Let's roll 1 plot hook. And let's just get crazy. Let's say there's a 5th player at the table. What are you? Artist. Let's say there's an artist, which is a nice contrast to the artisan, honestly. I like those back to back. I almost didn't include both of them because I thought it'd be confusing for folks. That's a 17, but I have a smart audience. An illustrated book of children's rhymes, long thought to be mere fairy tales, turns out to be the truth. Okay, geez. That's a plot hook. All right, so let's think about this. The artist has this book, maybe from their childhood, right? Or maybe they've been commissioned to illustrate this book. Either way, it tells of this forest that is now the marsh, that is now sunken. Flooded, and now I'm getting like elemental vibes, right? Like somebody, Brothers Grimm always, yeah, that's great. Steal your inspiration from everywhere, but like those OG fairy tales, yo, okay. I say fairy tale, and a lot of people roughly my age, roughly my context. I know we have an international audience here, but a lot of Americans hear fairy tale, fairy, they think, what's happening, dude? Hey man, come hang out. We're making an adventure out of 5 different characters, building blocks here. So the theory is that we want the players, everybody, to give as much of a shit as possible, and we're going on a lot of tangents. And right now we're talking about fairy tale. So I say fairy. A lot of people, fairies have been Disneyfied, right? I get Tinkerbell. But like, man, you go look at the Brothers Grimm, you go look at, Celtic mythology, you don't want to fuck with the Fae. The Fae are underrepresented, but like, woo, you step in that circle of mushrooms, they're never going to see you again, right? This androgynous David Bowie looking mofo in this like beautiful suit that's like 2 centuries out of date and a little moldy just like steps out of some hillside somewhere and offers you a drink. Woo, if you drink that, that's it for you, man. That's it. So yeah, there's a book this artist has been given, started with, and they're an artist, so they're going to lean into time. Maybe we're utilizing inspiration for once. Yeah, cutesy. Americanized fairy tales are cutesy little happy stories. Yeah, dude. And to each their own. Maybe that's what you're looking for in your Dungeons and Dragons. But we're cooking up Shattered Obelisk, and it's pretty freaky deaky. And I'm gonna try to make it even freakier and definitely deakier, man. We're going hard into the cosmic horror Cthulhu vibes, and like they are not that far from it when you go back to the origins, bro. So yeah, our artist has this fairy tale book, and maybe it takes an interaction with a non-player character, or maybe it's an insight check, or maybe it's player engagement. But we get to a place where the artist realizes that the shrine into the weird and wild is an awesome RPG resource for making face stories. Your campaign, that's cool. You are welcome to share that resource. Is that a? I do not know that one. The Tooth Fairy. The Tooth Fairy is horrifying. There is some sort of creature, right? I mean, again, we're Disneyfied. Maybe it's like Tinkerbell little thing. I don't know. I don't know what it looks like. I don't know what it looks like because you've never seen the thing, because it only comes when you're asleep, and it wants your face bones. It wants your face bones, and it's collecting them for reasons. It left me a quarter, right? Because the Fae. It's funny. The Fae are considered chaotic, but they're just like they're lawful. Depends what canon you're dealing with here. We're mixing a couple different things at once, but like there are rules of engagement with the Fae, right? There's decorum. So this thing is going to compensate you for your mouth bones that it has come and taken in the night, because it's collecting them for some purpose. And we think we tell our children this, so they feel better about their mouth bones falling out of their face. I guess we got to tell us something. But like, what is this guy doing with all our mouth bones? Somewhere there's a little creature with a mountain of teeth. God damn, we're putting that in. That's in the book. That's on the cover of this book that the artist has. There's this little Tinkerbell looking thing until you look closer and like, whoa, Tinkerbell was a lot more attractive than whatever the hell this thing is. And that's a giant mound of teeth behind them. And within this book is illustrated the hidden shrine in the sinking forest, and that tips off the cleric for whatever they rolled on their magic item, or we rolled for them, or maybe just another one. Because again, I'm not giving you one of everything. I'm giving you tons of everything. I'm giving you 10 magic items, not because I think you should hand out one, and definitely not 10 magic items at character creation, but you never know. You never know when you just like want a little. In the adventure, in the treasure chest, the book has something that's just like not that interesting, or it's really cool, but it's really specific, and like no one in the party can really use it. I mean, that can lead to some interesting situations, but you could also just go in and swap out bespoke treasure that I want the tooth fairy that's, do they eat them, lay their eggs in them? Whatever the answer, you will be uncomfortable. I am already uncomfortable. Tickle thing that lost his mind. We had a fairy at our table 3 games ago, and we made it a little weird. And then we didn't get to the laying eggs and teeth weirdness. But yeah, long live Tickle Fang. Might be making a comeback. I mean, Tickle Fang lives on. So, yeah. So we got the cleric to care about the artist's book. Out of the gate, we know our acrobat is going to really like shine in the Sunken Forest because it's an environment that's good for them because the floor is lava or the floor is viscous aqueous muck that will suck you down like quicksand, or disturb it at your own risk and, you know, some fey creature or some ooze, or what, some half shark, alligator, half man could come creeping out. And I try not to do it. I don't do it as much as I have an impulse to do it, but I love unintended consequences. I love the hero swoop in, bust heads, break shit, people of action, don't ask a lot of questions, maybe don't get all the context, and they do a bunch of stuff, and because they've done all of this stuff, that's what has started the ball rolling for the higher level adventures. So maybe we go disturb this swamp, and we discover that the lizard people, the lizard people are the ones who are responsible for the noble elites from the town council and the local city watch, all of the above, and the cleric's order are all being corrupted by these lizard people. And these lizard people are worshipping this. She was a succubus in my mind at first, but some devil. But let's go back to the Acolyte real quick. Let's go back to the Acolyte and see this entry, because maybe the big bad evil guy of this campaign is not going to be the half shark, alligator, half man. Maybe it's the Tooth Fairy. What did this say? Sister Seraphine, an acolyte doesn't show the devil seducing anyone she can to corruption. I mean, that very much feels like... It doesn't feel very Tooth Fairy to me, but I don't care. I like Tooth Fairy better. Does the Tooth Fairy... I mean, that's so freaking weird. Does that fit with anybody's backstory? Doesn't have to. But again, you gotta find a point to inject some gonzo weirdness into your game, right? Like, a lot of, especially newer dungeon masters, like, try really hard to reinvent the wheel and come up with like brand spanking new original things and like not lean into tropes. But like tropes are fine. Tropes are good because you want the players. This storytelling shorthand is something that we all share, right? And you can put your own little accent on it, right? Your goblins can be from Brooklyn, and your fey creatures can be Tinkerbell, or it can be bizarre teeth hoarding monstrosities. But like, I need the player to derive a lot of meaning out of the words I'm saying quickly when I am narrating a thing. I want them to know what I'm saying. I don't want to explain my unique, brilliant idea. I have a ton of ideas. I don't know how unique any of them are, because like we've been telling stories the whole time. The whole time. That's what we're here to do, I think. That's one of the main functions of humans. You know, bees make honey, humans make stories. So yeah, you don't need to make... The originality is going to happen because those 4 to 5 people are sitting around that table on that night, right? And the dice are going to do what the dice are doing, and that synchronicity is going to happen. And that's where the originality is going to happen. So you don't need to come up with a brand spanking new idea out of the gate every time. you actually, I think, maybe don't want to as much as a lot of us aspire to at first. Gotta drink my tea. Sorry for sick voice. It's gonna get worse before it gets better, because we're doing this every night, folks. Every night this week, I'm going to be streaming. I think we might do an afternoon show, just because I'm going to spread out the times. Because again, we have an international audience, and some folks are sleeping right now. Some folks just got home from work. Some folks are just waking up. We're worldwide. All right. I would love chat to give me ideas if you got anything coming up, if you've seen connections, because this is whatever, the Verdigris Table Show, sure. But again, the collaborative nature of all of this, it was what makes it good. I mean, I don't know how we got to the Tooth Fairy. We could go back and put the pieces together. Who said Tooth Fairy first? Chris said Tooth Fairy. Yeah, we were talking about Faye and Brothers Grimm, and like, yeah, we got their collective. We didn't roll Tooth Fairy. Tooth Fairy is what happened because we were rolling on this. Does the Tooth Fairy have a relationship with the half shark, alligator, half man? They don't have to at first. But if our player characters go to the swamp to find the magic item at the hidden shrine in the sinking forest, and that's where they discover the corruption that's not only affecting the Acolytes people, but explains what's happening to the artisan, and maybe to a lesser extent the barkeep, their town, right? Maybe we're all from Otari or Phandalin, and this is what's going on. Yeah, let's go off the rails. We've been off the rails for a while now. Oh man. You know what? I take it back, chat. Please don't. They lay their eggs in the caps of your gums after they steal your teeth. I mean, I'm gonna go floss now. I feel dirty. I feel gross. I brush my teeth before streaming tonight. Yeah, I usually freshen up before sitting in this office and being on camera. Does everybody do that? So yeah, I'm fairly freshly brushed, but like, oh, my teeth hurt now. It's like my mouth bones feel weird because we're talking about them. Oh boy. So our half shark, alligator, half man gets disturbed and comes to town and ends up in the sewers, because where else is a half shark, alligator, half man going to hang out but the sewers? And the rum runners are down there. And maybe the local city watch knows it. That feels like the sort of thing that the local city watch knows is going on, and they're looking the other way, right? Because they're corrupt. What am I missing? The elemental animus. So yeah, there's a short walk to get from like mud method to ooze, right? To get, it's like water plus earth plus demonic snot. I depending on your canon. Oozes are also like plant adjacent in my mind in some contexts, right? Almost like a mold fungal creature. So this is definitely like, maybe you've tracked these things in from the sinking forest. And again, I would be taking the god that the cleric is bringing to the table for a lot of the context here. I mean, yeah, a good barkeep can bring you a lot. Oh boy, we're going far here. Don't think they're just fairy eggs and hatch when the body is buried. Something like necromantic. Dang, dude. Parasitic teeth. That's the connection to the half shark, alligator, half man, right? Because I don't know anybody who's got more teeth than a shark. Yikes, Chris. Yikes indeed. We have done. We might be shutting down soon, folks. I don't think we can keep on this way. man, you bring this like contagious, right? Because this is a were half shark, alligator, half man. That's the half man part. This is a lycanthrope, so a bite from this half shark, alligator, half man is going to make, if you survive, right, and failure saves, potentially make more half shark alligators. And half shark alligators, they have a lot of teeth, and maybe, hold on. So our tooth fairies would be very interested in utilizing them, and maybe they are being subjugated, right? Maybe you talk about a reversal. Maybe these half shark, alligator, half man creatures, which are dangerous, man. I'm thinking grapple, I'm thinking bonus action, death roll, right? Maybe they're throwing teeth at you. I don't know. Swim speed in this swamp environment, in the sewer. They can move in ways that you can't. Stealth abilities. Oh, yeah. Dangerous dudes. You don't want to mess with them. I'm getting Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle vibes now. But they can be reasoned with and can be worked with, because you know who's got problems with the Fae? These guys. Right? The lizard people look down on them. They are hunting them for their teeth. They regrow their teeth so fast, right? I mean, sharks regrow their teeth, and they have like rows and rows and rows. And I think they're constantly like, that's why you find like shark teeth on the beach, right? I think they regrow. I think they regenerate teeth. But maybe maybe we're going with the parasitic fairy eggs. But why do they want, maybe it's both, right? But why do they want your teeth? I mean, it's got to be some sort of component to like some sort of magical ritual, right? It always is. We're opening a portal to the Fae realm. And they're only bones. They're all cartilage. Sharks are weird creatures. Sharks are weird. Oh yeah, they're like, yeah. The mouth sprouting mouth bones. We're getting into a weird place here of like, there's an ooze cartilage thing, but again, not everything has to connect. But by the time you're throwing your 10th, speaking of original ideas, right? I mean, I stole it from some hip hop from 1998 or something. But the first time you see a half shark, alligator, half man, you're like, whoa, man, this is creative and interesting. The 10th time you see one, you're like, okay, well, we know all the tricks now, but you have a multiplier effect. This is why I'm hoping we hit some of these stretch goals for like the monster and like the BBEG tables. Like these can all be multipliers. But even in your day-to-day, like, what do I get if I take a half shark and a half alligator multiplied by an ooze? What does that look like, right? Maybe it was a wizard did it. Maybe it was some sort of mutagenic property of the swamp. Maybe it's what shark alligators look like in the Fae realm. What do they look like in the Shadow realm? They use them like we use now. Yeah, exactly. Gator Shark was an outcast. That's the interesting thing about lycanthropy, right? You always kind of default to like the town jerk at the bar, right? Became the werebore, right? That's the story. And then again, there's nothing wrong with the tropes and the cliches, and leaning into the shorthand that we all share. But yeah, that half shark, alligator, half man could be a half shark, alligator, half Fae creature. Maybe it was an elf. Maybe it was, I don't know, go nuts. That labyrinth David Bowie character with the velvet frock and the codpiece. Maybe is one and the same. And now we got a little switcheroo Scooby-Doo situation on our hands here. Maybe give the Fae a worthwhile motivation, despite their creepy behavior. So they need these teeth to get home, some kind of tooth fairy. Something. Toll. Again, it's transactional, right? The tooth fairy thing is very transactional. I give you a coin. I get your mouth bones. I need these mouth bones. We need all these mouth bones because we need all of our people. We need to pay the toll for all of our people to get back to the Fey realm. A good big bad evil guy or gal or abominable Fey creature who steals your mouth bones for coins has a motivation. A great one has a sympathetic motivation, right? Like I'm just trying to get home. I'm just trying to get home. You can't hate me for stealing all your teeth and laying eggs in your mouth. I'm just trying to get home, man. You got a quarter for the bus? You got some mouth bones for the Fey gate? Like, this is an adventure. Building this has been an adventure too. But again, I'm thinking it feels like a weird and wonderful thing that we've built together tonight. But I mean, we've leaned more into some of these characters than others, and it's not going to be 25, 25, 25, 25 each time. And maybe next time, maybe right now. I don't know. What time is it? 9:30. I don't want to cut into Lucas's time. We're all going to Kelt's Corner in a little bit over on Twitch. No one's evil for evil's sake, right? Maybe somebody is, but like, the sociopath, psychopath, like, well, this is sort of interesting, kind of. But like, yeah, if there's a reason, you have a story. It's a more meaningful tale that you're telling. But two, they can be reasoned with, they can be negotiated with, or outsmarted, or tricked, or deceived. Now you're opening up all of the different ways for the players to engage with this creature, the sect of lizard people who have been deceived by the Tooth Fairy. And coins laughing to scry on the coin. Oh, they're always one step ahead. That's good. That's good. That's good. There's a lot of... I did a little video about this a long time ago. Didn't get a lot of traction because it wasn't one of my earlier works. But there's a lot of cool... So, hey, Stacy. Yeah, we're going to Kelt's Corner. There's a lot of cool stuff that you can do with currency. And I think... it's in those early Colville things, but it's 100% from the Black Company. If you haven't read the Black Company, and I will give credit where credit's due. This is the second Matt Colville mention we've had tonight. I did not, the Black Company, like I had heard of it, but Matt Colville is at least mostly responsible for me having read those books. And dang, they are great. They are great. This is the Black Company, folks. There is a shadowy cabal of, like, he leaves it undefined, which is so much better because that leaves like space in your imagination for you to fill in the blanks. But there are these shadowy people who are paying good coin for dead bodies, right? And they live in this tower, and this tower is growing, and it's actually like some sort of arcane device to, unleash their imprisoned overlord or whatever, underlord. But yeah, Colville steals the tower and the chain of Akron. I don't know if you've seen. I haven't seen all of it, or probably most of it, but his like big actual play, Chain of Akron, was like very much Black Company inspired. But yeah, he has Collar the Vile from the Temple of Elemental Evil. I think one of those old school advanced D&D modules, handing out like these like bloody coins, which is freaking cool. Your players kill, like, you want to cure murder hobos right away. They kill somebody at the tavern, and somebody shows up and goes, "Thank you," and takes the bodies and gives them, I think they're red gold, rose gold, blood red coins. And yeah, that allows them to scry, or even just like vanilla 5e, right? You can scry on an object, and that gives you a higher success rate, right? So the coins serve a purpose. It's transactional. Again, the Fae they have rules of decorum that they must follow, but also now you have this thing, and I can watch you. I'm watching you while you sleep, and I'm counting your mouth bones, because I am a terrifying tale to tell children. All right. Anybody else have anything before? I think we're going to start wrapping this up. We told a cool, weird story together tonight, and that makes me very happy. It's hard for me to be objective here, but I think we also showed how this thing works or can work, right? I think we've done a pretty cool job of showing how this works in different ways. And we focus very much on the Dungeon Master side of things tonight and the world building side of things tonight, but in a way that is completely player focused. And well, we got our jollies as the Dungeon Master, right? Like, I did a bunch of world building. This is a game in its own right. The reason everybody should be a Dungeon Master is because Dungeon Masters gets to play way more D&D. If you want more D&D in your life, one, be a Dungeon Master, because players are easy to find, DMs are hard to find, but two, you get to play D&D all by yourself in your room when you're cooking stuff up between sessions, man. This is fun. But what we did not do today, maybe we did a little bit of it, but like what we didn't do much of today is that world building that's never going to mean anything at the table to the players. And that can be fun too. Don't get me wrong. I'm not hating. I'm not casting stones. But if you do a bunch of world building at different levels of focus where the action at the table isn't going to touch, or maybe isn't going to touch to level 12, and that's a year away, and I haven't done my homework to get things on the ground to be interesting at level 1, level 2, level 3, to pave the way to level 12, let alone ensure that our group is going to get there. So, plus if you enjoy prep, you will play way longer. Yes. This makes prep enjoyable. It also makes it fast and fun. I mean, you do it collaboratively. I mean, we built an adventure. I mean, okay, I didn't stat out a monster or make a map, but like that's the easy part as far as I'm concerned at this point. You can pull those things off of the internet, or some people get a lot of joy out of like statting out monsters too. I'm a fan of like Frankensteining and reskinning, or there's a lot of cool monster books out there. There's a lot of cool, hey chat, bestiary or bestiary? I know it's bestiary. I say bestiary, and I will continue to do so, I think. We all get to mispronounce some things to our heart's delight, and the bestiary just feels right, doesn't it? Is bestiary the British version of that? So yeah, a lot of people struggle with prep, and I think because in part the Dungeon Master's Guide tells you to prep things that you're not actually going to use, and that really sets you up for failure, because you haven't prepped the things that you're going to use, that you need to have at the table to successfully run the game, and you're sad because the players don't care. But you did hours of work to all of this stuff that the players are not going to engage with because it doesn't touch their characters, and the players care about their characters. So it is the intersection of where your world meets the characters where the sparks are going to fly. Beast. Sounds more American English. Thank you. Okay, cool. Beast wins. Beast wins, ladies and gentlemen. Bestiary if you're putting on airs. I had a good time. I hope you had a good time. I don't know if it's British either. It's one of those where there's a lot of... This comes up as a YouTuber, but this comes up as a Dungeon Master a lot of times too. There are words... I don't know if you can tell I'm a reader, right? I've given away more books than I own. Maybe that is a humble brag, but there's a lot of words out there that have been inside my brain multiple times, but never came out of my mouth until I started narrating. I think we talked about how to pronounce portcullis for about 5 to 10 minutes one night at a game. So, yes, bestiary. The best bestiary in town. Or a beastly bestiary. I like the best bestiary, myself. Guys, I had fun. I hope you had fun. I hope you watching in the future have fun. And I do hope that if you haven't already, you back the Game Master's Compendium of Explosive Creation. And definitely, if you haven't already downloaded this thing that we just had a bunch of fun with, there's 1,000 things in here we didn't touch tonight. Maybe not quite 1,000 in this demo, but there are hundreds. There's roughly 700 entries that we did not pull from. There's whole categories that we didn't touch. in this stream. So yeah, go download this thing and use this thing. And yeah, tell your friends, because we've got some big stretch goals. I'm going to review real quick. The idea is that we are in the home stretch and we are trying to hit some stretch goals. The sky's the limit, folks, but I have set everything so we can just rock this thing. I'm going to be streaming every night. We're going to be pushing this. One, because it's fun, and two, I just enjoy this interactive experience. Maybe it's not as good content as when I polish and edit something, but man, it's a lot of fun for me to be like talking to you guys in real time, or with whatever, a slight delay. But yeah, there is a lot of potential content that could end up in this book if you help me out. And yeah, I'm doing my best to promote this, and I know a lot of you have already too, and I am forever in your debt. And if no, we get 0 more pledges, like, this thing is going to be dope. I'm excited to have this thing. I'm excited for you to have this thing, but I'm excited personally to have this thing. It is fun. It is cool. It is fast. It is wild. It makes me, the creation of it, obviously, making me stretch more and more and more and think of things in ways that I wouldn't have otherwise. But like the interaction style of things, at the table collaboratively, in chat collaboratively, but even by yourself, as like the dice give you little interactions. Like we pulled a bunch of corruption things, and like maybe that's, I don't know, but maybe tomorrow afternoon we'll do the same thing with different entries and see how different it feels. We're obviously going to have to make the Tooth Fairy the big bad evil guy of every campaign ever now. I don't see a way around that. But yeah, get out there and use this thing, and please, if you can, tell folks about it. If everybody tells 3 people and they tell 3 people, we will 100% have a pyramid scheme. But I think if we do it 3 times, I think we hit, I think we'll hit 10 grand. I don't know. But that will add, from this point, that will still add a little over 50% to the page count. So a bigger, better book, more tables. I've been rambling. If we crack all of these goals, I will 100% do a podcast style rant. And yeah, sure, I'll drink for you all. I will dance for you. Hard to watch back, I think, because it's hours long versus 20-minute videos. Yeah, I think this is the kind of thing you have to be there. But I will say, people do watch these. I've watched some stuff. I mean, I've watched some Kelp's Corners in replay. I've watched some Blank Slate podcast in replay. Yeah, these are interesting things. I think the secret, and this is the kind of thing you put at the end of a 90-minute video, if you're going to watch this, watch the chat. So yeah, pro tip for next time. If you watched this far in the future and you didn't see everybody else talking this whole time, I guess, yeah, I think it's over there on your side when you're rewatching this. Yeah, do that, because this is a collaborative storytelling thing. And just real quick, there's a lot of doom and gloom out there, folks. I mean, the world's got a lot darker in the past week or two, too. But in our little enclave of D&D, Hasbro's doing stupid stuff again, and there's a whole industry now of folks just like me, internet commentators, doing good work. Some of them doing better quality work than I'm doing, but there's a whole cottage industry of doom saying about every move that Hasbro makes. So yeah, we don't know what the next edition is going to bring. We don't know what a multi-billion-dollar Fortune 500 company is going to do, and we don't have to care that much, because this stuff is ours. We won the OGL fight back in January, February, and more than the original SRD ended up in the Creative Commons, and we don't even need that. This thing is awesome. I think. And it's getting more and more awesome. And I'm not even touching the Creative Commons side of things. We can do our own thing. And that is baked into this hobby. So yeah, is there going to be a microtransaction plagued virtual tabletop that is more like a video game than a Dungeons and Dragons experience, where a language learning model, artificial intelligence, is replacing dungeon masters? Like, is all that going to happen? I don't know. Probably, maybe, probably. That's what they want. But that's not my ideal, but that's okay, because they can't stop us from doing this and from going down to our local friendly neighborhood game store, or just sitting around our dining room tables or down in the basement and playing games with our friends and collective storytelling. They're not going to, the Pinkertons aren't coming for the books you already have, right? And the worse it gets, the more better things there will be. It will take you some time, but trust me on that. There is going to be, maybe 6th edition is going to be the best edition ever, and it's going to be awesome, and we'll all be playing it and loving it. But maybe we'll be looking at other stuff too this time next year. And the more Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast fracture the core pillar of this community, the more room there will be for other voices and other companies to step up. So yeah, if you're out there doom scrolling about the current state of affairs in your fantasy escape from the doom scrolling of the real world conflicts, then yes, take heart. We're going to be just fine. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for participating in chat. I had an awesome time. I hope you enjoyed it too. Hey man, we're doing this all week. So if you did have fun, come back, do it again. We're going tomorrow afternoon. Love you guys. Have fun.